get up on my phone.
Yeah, I've included my audio, so it should be right.
Smashing. Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the SLR Division 3 Championship. We're here in Azerbaijan, in the capital in Baku. I've just completely got that wrong already, but we move. We're joined once again by your commentators, myself as Riggs, and joining me in the booth is my good friend and co-commentator Merx. Merx, how are we?
Hello everyone. Yeah, I'm feeling good about about commentating over another Div 3 race. Should be interesting. We've come away from the walls of Monaco to the walls of Baku, so should be fun. Well, looking forward to firstly a good qualifying session and hopefully a good race.
Definitely. Azerbaijan has a history in real life for delivering exceptional and unpredictable races. We've seen it in the SLR season already in Azerbaijan. We've had the F2, Division 1 and Division 2 races, and if you've not seen them already, we actively encourage that you catch up with them once you're done here. As we're here for the headliner, the Division 3 race, there's always something chaotic happening, and I'm pretty sure Azerbaijan and Division 3 are just going to create a complete mix of everything. I'm pretty much ready for it. And watch me say that, and it's going to be a bore fest. Just watch it happen. But anyway, as you were saying, one street circuit to the next, and I think if it depends, it's a very in the balance subject. Like we go to Canada next week as well, so would you count that as a street circuit? It's the same nature.
Yeah.
3 in a row before we move to the traditional racing circuits in a couple of weeks' time. But we're here and we're ready for Q1. We've got a couple of drivers. Most of the drivers already trying to get a feel for the circuit. So Max, in terms of Monaco to Azerbaijan, like they're very similar. Albeit Monaco is extremely tighter. It's a much slower circuit, really, to race around. But Azerbaijan actually promotes up and on in turn 3. They're the kind of main points as well. But also it mixes the modern side of with the historic side, which is quite a standout feature.
Yeah. Like you say, there's what was it, 2 kilometers ish. Is that someone crashed? No, someone get out of the way. I hope. Not sure. But yeah, so at the moment we've got about 15 drivers out on track, which is fun. Yeah, that's going to be one of the challenges of qualifying. But in the race, turn 1, turn 3. After that, you're going to have to try and fashion an overtake wherever there's. And Max Verstappen would try and do. But yeah, I think they'll probably go side by side anywhere. Hopefully not through the castle section. Single file through there.
I mean, don't get me wrong. If you see him there, I think it's an immediate contender for move of the week. I know we don't do that
of the season, I think.
But definitely, it's like one of the you would just stick that right at the top of the list. Everything else you can fight amongst yourselves, but I think any move into the castle section is going to be held in a pretty high regard. And this is an encouragement to go and do it. Just keep it safe, keep it clean. That's what the drivers really want. And I feel like, in a sense, Monaco was a matter of being a race of attrition. Like it was a matter of trying to come through the pit stop, to come through the pit lane the least amount of times, and you're going to be in a good position. Do you feel that's going to play the same kind of role here? Do you feel like it's just a matter of just keeping yourself with the pit lane?
Well, yeah. It's a bit more of an open track. Not by much. Everywhere you look, there's a wall. Pretty much the most open part of the track is the straight. So yeah, I mean, I think a pit stop may hamper you more than Monaco, because I imagine there'll be less mistakes here, but I may be proven wrong. So we've quite often proven wrong in this division.
Aye, it's quite a recurring trend for us. We would say one thing, the other happens. So we are quite we don't try and be tight-lipped, but we know that as soon as we say something, it'll just end up not happening, or the exact opposite will happen. So that is just a recurrent trend. So that's nothing to worry about there. But already seeing some times on the board, we've got Craig and Dodgy just split by 310s, only two drivers in the 140s, and the DNF Plum, Scott and Crafty Jester rounded out the top 5 so far. So we'll kind of let a few more times filter in before we start kind of trying to gauge when the cut-off point's going to be and like who's going to be like in the risk of elimination from the first session. But I definitely feel like I'm kind of on board with you. Like Baku has a lot of opportunities for moves, for overtaking, and I mean any opportunity can be turned into an overtake. Like we've seen a fair few of them in Division 1 and 2 earlier today and in last night's race as well. But as you were saying, this big 2 kilometre straight, I think it still holds the record for being the longest, albeit we have been to Vietnam and you've seen that's just as long. So it might be a competition between the two. But yeah, plenty of overtaking here. I can definitely see a big DRS train down into turn 1 and turn 3. But what's going to be crucial as well is the run down to turn 1 off the start isn't exactly that long. It's like one of the shorter rundowns to the first turn of the season. Like you don't really have much time to think about what you're going to do. You just kind of have to like kind of throw it to the wall and hope it sticks, kind of thing. And I mean, I'm trying to look at the circuit as well. Like turn 1, turn 3. They're their main points of overtaking. 2 big straights, DRS with assistance as well, ERS. I feel like they can be relatively easy moves because the slipstream and DRS is quite a powerful combination in this street circuit.
It is indeed. Yeah, I think turn 1 should be in, like say, short run. Then turn 1, I think, well, Monaco and Baku, I think are the 2 shortest. Monaco, Baku, Canada actually, I think might be well, 3 shortest runs, but down to turn 1. So I think you're going to have to probably, unless you get an excellent start, make your moves. As I watch Sir Eats a lot, almost stick it in the wall, but it's just to avoid damage, I think. But yeah, I think it's going to be moves happening on later on into turn 3 that will probably be more decisive than the ones into turn 1. But it does get narrow as you go up through turn 1 and 2. There's a big giant wall on the exit of both of those, so it'll be interesting. Let's see, but I think whoever's in first has the best opportunity.
The number 1 grid slot is on the cleaner side of the circuit as well, so hopefully they'll have all that extra tarmac to kind of play with and get a cleaner launch on the clean side rather than the dirty side. As we see, Sir Eats a lot, just looks a bit uneasy through that quick left-right coming onto on the big straight. And that's one thing I really noticed as well, is the fact that you're coming through that with such high speed and such a light car in your qualifying. Like, the car really does want to step out. It almost feels like it floats through there. I don't know if maybe you share that opinion, but for me it kind of felt like it just floats, and I feel like it does just for these turns, like turn 5 and 6 the same. The chicane, where the Renault of Dingo Dolphin's just coming up to his on his outlap, though he's no actually on a... But like this turn 5-6 kind of felt really light in qualifying, and you try and no hit that big curb there on turn 6. You don't want to hit the big curbs. It's so easy to just throw the car on the wall. Also, you'll know the big curb at turn 6 and the big curb at turn 14 when you're coming down the hill into the third sector. They're going to be the 2 kind of curbs that are going to potentially catch a few drivers out. 6 isn't as detrimental, but 14 can put you in the wall and give you some damage, which the drivers will try and actively avoid. I'm on board with Dingo Dolphin. He is in sector 2, but we will probably just stick on board him for his lap, because I'm pretty sure he is setting himself up for another run.
Looks like it.
And we can have a lap on board and see a map of a drive of Baku.
Baku, well done, Baku. That's what I'll be saying after this weekend's done. I think It's a bit tentative, but
done,
anyways,
Baku.
it goes through there. But yeah, sitting on a 142.9. 5 drivers yet to set a time, but they're all on laps, and Dingeldorf is about to start his. Goes down into turn 1. It's the apex nicely. Doesn't not as aggressive on the throttle on the exit, but keeps it between the two walls on the left and right. Obviously he's what 2.7 seconds is that off the time, so there's a bit of a gap that he can fill. There's I think that's Cal Smith who's put himself up there, along with Jones. He's only gone 14 fastest, so goes through turn 4, and now turn 5 and 6. Takes the curb on the inside, doesn't impact his line to turn 7, and cut that one quite a bit, which is not to. Now through the castle section, takes that quite tentatively, but gets through there nonetheless. Now with high speed, final part of the lap, it has to get out of the front for the first left-hander. Keeps it pinned through there. Will you take the curb? No, you won't. Green flag flashing on the right hand side. I think that is a Renault? Going for a tow here? Surely not. I think he might be getting a tow.
Potentially. Well, if he is, he's
Lifting
going
off.
to have to get a move on.
He's going to have to get a move on. Lifting through there. I don't know if it's going to work. No, he's backed out.
Nah, they've backed off. Yep, Renault kind of, I think they were going to go for it, but Scott Laney was just a bit slow to react to Dingle Dolphin coming through. I mean, we noticed there on his lap as well, you were picking up on it. He is very tentative on the throttle on the exits, and he did have a look up into 13 as well, so he is, maybe the lap wasn't going to be bettered. We'll say a word, but it will need to be bettered there, and he was definitely, I think Renault have the right idea going for the tow.
Oh,
Because maybe
that's
Dingle
right, it's
Dolphin
crashed.
needs that extra help, and Sprightly is jump on the Maxwell's in the Ferrari this time, but we'll see what's happened to Sprightly as we see him.
Ooh,
Oh, there we go.
on the exit there.
I think he's maybe just got a bit. I don't really know. We couldn't really see what damage he picked up exactly, but on top of damage, Maxwell I think picked up some damage there. Yep, front right wing plate is off that Ferrari. Got a bit too hot into 13. It's so easy and it's so quick to punish drivers that try and find that extra 10 for 2 there. Oh, Maxwell's just lost the rest of it. He's like, nah, might be better having no wing on this Ferrari. I mean, don't get me wrong, the current Ferraris in real life is absolutely terrible, so maybe it is an improvement. But no, Maxwell was. We jumped on board Maxwell just to really see what happened to Sprightly, considering that he was the closest to the incident. And I think Sprightly must have maybe just got a bit too keen on the throttle on the exit and that curb. Okay, because you can run wide on the exit at the top of the castle section without getting invalidation. And I don't know if maybe he's just done that, and maybe like the car's run a bit too wide. But it just looks to me with the actual like situation that he's ended up in terms of the car positioning, it just looks like he's maybe lost the traction on exit and he's clipped off. I feel like that's kind of pretty much speaks for itself. I think that's kind of how it is. We've got. Sorry, you can go with that.
Yeah, so Freeman says hello. Carrie, what name that is? Carrie Razbaz says A up. Says lads. Steve-O says well, happy with that. Hope I haven't peaked too early. Yes, he's in P. Also won a 140.2, a trio drive 40.2, which is pretty good, like from the McLaren driver. And then Nicky says, "Can I get an invite? I should be racing now, or there now." I think you meant to say. No, you're in Division 1, Nicky. I'm sorry.
You've got to. I mean, know your role, Nicky. We've got Scott coming up to the line. He has improved by a second. It says there in his belt light. He's just on the run up to the line there. Pit lane's on your left. The gantry light's over there, and he's up to 6th. So 140.6. He's a big improvement there for the Ferrari, and he puts himself into 6th place. Looking at the chat action, Steve-O, we better hope you've no peak because we're looking for some points. But no, as you were saying, strong showing there, and like the top 3 really just kind of looking like they're in a kind of league of their own so far this early on. Like SLR, Bean, Craig, and Steve-O all in that 140.2 mark, and then it's 3 tenths before you've got the 2 racing points of Cal and Dodgy in 4th and 5th, and then it's like a wee battle for the top 3. Then it's 4th to 7th, and then it's just kind of filtering in between. But it's only Q1; it still really is early days. So it's really just going to be a matter of where the cut-off's going to be. I would assume it to be, I would maybe say you need at least a 141 to be guaranteed. Like, I'd say a 141 with the way it looks, considering there's a gap of 3 tenths between Ned Claw in 13th and Paul in 14th. And then Jules is right on that cusp as well. So, looking at that, Jonesy, I would assume Jonesy would get out I'd get out that bottom 5. Dingle Dolphin, he might be cutting it fine. Maxwell and Sarit's a lot. I think Sarit's a lot new because I think that's the first time.
Yes. Yes,
so
he is new.
Their pace is, with respect, a representative. Like, we don't know how quick they're going to be. So we could see Sarit's a lot in the Mercedes jumping up to the front, go to the midfield or whatever. But Scott comes out of the pit lane, same with Jay Geddes. Jay Geddes kind of cutting it fine, can be near that cut-off point. Jester is up to 2 tenths a second on his lap as the and it's the 2 Haas drivers. I think they're going to get as Jules is right on the cusp, so DNF Plum's going to be generous and try and give him a bit of a toll here as we'll ride on board with Plum. I'm assuming Plum will just kind of back off before turn 1 anyway. I feel like that would be the smartest and most sensible way to do it. We'll watch Jules go by as we see Plum going into the pit lane, but we'll jump on Jules now as he does just get pushed into the bottom 5, but Dingo Dolphin does improve and he's right on that fine line, so Jules needs to put in a better lap. He needs to improve by 400ths a second, and he locks up going into turn 2 as he opens the DRS on the exit. This is the very nice avenue down here, trees on either side, and weirdly, I use the trees for the reference. I don't know what other drivers' references are. Like, I use one of the trees as a reference point into turn 3, through turn 4 as well. That curve's quite a pain if you can take it to the runner and get a bit too greedy on it. You see the Renault. I think that was Dingle Dolphin just moving it the way there, but we'll on board Jules as he goes through 5 and 6. Look fairly tidy, look fairly clean as he breaks just after the 50-metre board. It gets a bit greedy on there, but it is still a valid lap. It is still good to go up through the castle. Very slow, very tentative there, but I think it is just a matter of making it through in one piece. You don't want to go picking up damage by being a bit too aggressive in terms of actually attacking that chicane. So I feel like Jules might just be playing it safe, but he is continuing to slide down the order as he is in 18th now. Ned Claw does stay in the pits, he's not making it through. Maxwell pushes Dingle Dolphin down and he's right on the cusp now. Jules is up to 8 tenths a second, and we're going to just sit on board with him through these final twists and turns left, and then it's the big straight, and it's just here to the line. Nothing else, nobody in front of him. He is going to miss out on the slipstream because there's nobody in front of him, so it is just a matter of the top end speed of the Haas. Is he going to try and keep a tight line to the pit lane? He does not. He tries to go more central, but it's a 141.3 and it's 13th fastest, an improvement of 8 tenths. So it eats a lot. The checker flag comes out for him. He will be starting last alongside Sprightly. Dingle Dolphin, Ned Claw, then they come out for the final run, and Maxwell just gets pushed out right at the death after just managing to bail right at the end, just to be pushed back. Geddes came out of the pits right at the end. Was they going to improve on his lap? But it was enough to just scrape through with the skin of his teeth. I'm just gonna look at the chat, and I think my accent's getting laughed at there.
Yeah, 10-6 or Scottish. Sounds a bit different.
it's the accent's quite thick. Um, like, I mean, I mean, with respect to Scottish folk, I'm surprised folk actually kind of like have an idea what they're saying at times because it can just be that thick when you get right into the juicy stuff. But I mean, I didn't think I'd ever say six rang, and it just doesn't sound like six. I'm being very like tentative about how I'm saying it now because I'm trying to watch in case I do say it that way, and I don't want to come off like that. So I'm just watching what I'm doing. So you've got me paranoid now. See, but anyway, we'll divert that conversation to this as we see the top 15 making it through. Maxwell just narrowly missing out there with a very late change of position there. He did manage to escape, but was pushed back in right at the death. Ned Clark didn't come back out for the final run. He'll be starting 17th alongside Dingo Dolphin, and the Renault was they improving too much there. In Sprite Lady's accident, he'll be starting 19th, and Sirisa a lot 5.6 seconds off the pace. I don't think that's representative of his actual pace. I think it's maybe just a matter of maybe just not getting a clean lap in. It is really difficult to get a clean lap in Baku, so we can imagine that it's just been a bit of a struggle trying to find that rhythm, maybe the setup as they really playing its part. But I feel like Baku surprisingly, for how quick the track actually feels, it's actually it's one of the longer laps in Formula 1, which was quite surprising. Because it's like a 140 lap, and that's the same as like Spa, and you wouldn't think that.
Yeah. Second longest, I think, on the calendar.
I think it actually is just behind Spa, isn't it? Like it is Spa, then it's Baku.
Yeah, I think it's Spa, Baku, then Silverstone, as far as I know, something like that. Anyway, Silverstone's actually quite long. It's just that it's fast track. But yeah, second longest track on the calendar. And it can be one of those races that drags out. We have a mix of strategy going on at the moment. I do imagine everyone will be putting on soft compound tyres come the end of the session. So we have 9 drivers or something like that. I don't know, can't see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on mediums, yeah, 9 on softs. At the moment, nearly everybody's out on track, so it's going to be a bit of backing up to do come the end of their laps. Who's first on track? It's an Alfa Romeo of Jay Geddes on soft compound tyres.
And I feel like I don't really know because the strategy, I would assume it is a one-stop. The tyre wear isn't actually as aggressive here as it is at other circuits like Shanghai, for example. Like it's not really a rough circuit. It is actually quite easy on the tyres, so I don't feel like tyre wear should really play too much of an issue unless you're going for an audacious strategy or you've been put on the back foot in terms of strategy. But I definitely will have to like concur with you and say like I do feel like everybody will be on the softs at the end. The medium will maybe just trying to kind of sell us the dummy in terms of like saying like we'll go in the mediums and maybe just leave it at that and then go right at the end. But I think soft tyres will be the way forward, especially if you want to get into the top 10, you'll need to go in the softs. I think it's going to be a very big ask in terms of trying to get through on a set of mediums. But it's really just going to be a matter of what works for you, and I would feel like the soft would be low. I don't know if you agree with that. I think it would be the softs to hards. I think the pit window is running about lap 6, 7, like that kind of region.
Yeah, I agree. There's been a lot of backing up. Williams has come into the pit lane, interestingly. So we did have all cars out on track, but no has decided to come into the pit lane as Jay Geddes. Oh, I think someone's got out of the way. I think there might be people getting out of the way, actually. Yeah, there was a lot of backing up as we were on board with Jay Geddes. I'd noticed on the mini-map that I was having a little look at it myself that a lot of people We're kind of at the final, at the start of Sector 3, kind of just going quite slow when you need to build up the lap. As that is a Renault going slow, but Joe Geddes is going to come across the line to be the first man to set a lap time, quickly followed by a McLaren of Steve-O.
.41.7 there for the McLaren driver. I think in Baggy Fan 142.4, I think drivers will just be putting banker laps in. I don't expect them to be bolting out the gate on the first run. I'll leave that to you, but with that chat. But I definitely kind of on the same boat as yourself, Max. I don't think people will be wanting to start on the mediums unless you're outside the top 10. But I think what drivers will really need to be weighing in here is I mean, I'm saying this with respect, but the prospect of a safety car could come really early in the race and completely put you on the back foot. Like the safety car can like, see if you're on the mediums, for example, right? So if you go through to the mediums on the into Q3 on the mediums, and you start on the mediums, or if you're anywhere and you start on the mediums and there's a safety car on lap 1, you're kind of left on your own, really, because you don't know where to actually kind of stay where you are and hope for another one, or just put the hards to the end. Whereas with the softs, you kind of get that. Softs aren't really going to, they're not really expected to last as long, so it basically gives the soft runners a free pass if there's an early safety car. And that allows them to go in hards to the end. I think the hards are extremely durable. There's surprisingly quite a lot of grip on the hards, so I definitely don't feel like the hards should be too much of an issue to get to the end if you pit on lap 6 or 7 when the window opens, or to lap 1 to the end. I think the hard tyres are a very capable race tyre, so to speak.
Just gonna say that Cal Smith has gone for, he backed out of his first run and has gone for a second flying lap, and he's got a lot of cars to get through after he comes out of the castle section. So this will be interesting to see on board.
I'm just gonna have to picture if we're gonna obviously I mean, you're not allowed to block drivers, so the drivers will need to be aware that Cal is on a lap, and he is picking up the pace. The Hasse Plum does sensibly get out of the way there, but Cal Smith just on a charge, up by seconds, so he's definitely on a flyer. So we'll need to see where this puts him. It might put him near the front, but it's definitely going to look to be an improvement, as he does look very swift for that left, right there. Gets a wee bit close to the wall, they're a bit close for comfort, but you can just see everybody there on the far side, on the far there, just filtering into the pit lane as he does come up to the line. 40.3, and it's going to be third fastest, so racing point 1.3 as he does look up going into turn 1. I mean, no harm done. He just needs to be wary of the Williams Jester coming down.
It is Jester.
Aye, it's Jester.
Starting his lap on the mediums.
Complete stab in the dark there, but we made it. That is the main thing. But it's Jester on a lap, and if he's going to complete this lap on a set of mediums, right? Has he got enough time to come out? I think he might just be cutting it fine.
You should do, yeah.
You want to be out before. A safe time would be 3 minutes left in the session. But if you want to cut it fine and be the last driver to set a lap, you would look to be about the 2:10 mark, 2:20 mark. But if you do that, you're going to have the task of having to go fast from the get-go when you leave the pits, or you're going to caught up in the traffic, or everybody doing a lap, and that's going to push you further back. So sensibly, I feel like drivers will come out a bit early. I've noticed that as I become trained. Some of the drivers they like to come in, they like to come back out early. They don't really leave it to the last minute. They kind of come out with 5 minutes left, and then they kind of go in and settle down and just kind of watch everybody improve on their times. But the track's always going to be rubbing in. It's always going to be finding speed, pace, grip, traction. Like, the track's always going to improve, so there is always time to be gained. It's just a matter of setting yourself up so you've got time to go if you need to go. But Jester is going to complete his lap, and it's going to be 9. It does just get him in the top 10.
Just,
Let's see.
but Scott Laney is on soft compound tyres, going quite fast himself.
Oh. Oh, sorry.
You right there?
I had a sneeze coming on there. My nose is just like, I'm trying to like rub my nose because I've got sorry, I've got a really annoying tickle. I've got a sneeze on its way, and it's just, I was about to swear there. It's actually really annoying. But I'm on board with Scott Laney. It's not going to show us how much he's up by because he's yet to put a time in, but he is in the softs, and he is going to purple. Let's see how he does these 2 final turns. Oh, looks clean.
He's gone purple. So far, whether that is definitely purple, we'll see until he crosses the line. Looked like he took too much curb on the entry to the start of Sector 3. That goes faster, so I think the game was probably lying with us, because I lost a whole second in the final sector when it's near flat out.
I think when you've not set a time, it's purple to the driver, which kind of acts as its personal best rather than the session best, which is a bit weird. I don't understand that. That might be graphics glitch on the game. I think it's been that way for since I can remember getting back into the Formula 1 games, but the system should be green rather than purple, because if it was purple, it'd be a lot closer to dodgy, obviously. But Scott Laney's lap did look fairly clean. It was enough to get him in, but the issue is, and it was going back to just what we were saying a few minutes ago, is the fact that he's no left a lot of time to come in, change the tyres, and come back out. Like, he's going to come into his garage in about a minute's time, and I don't think that's the wisest move for Scott Laney, for example, who can arguably still find himself in threat of being eliminated. He's going to just stay out and just hope for the best, and I think that is what he's planning, because he does look to be just kind of dabbing on the brakes when they can, try and change his ERS up again and get it ready for another flying run. But the cut-off point looks to be a mid-41, I would say. Would you say that's fair?
Yeah, we still got, I'm trying to see what people's best times are. The bottom from 9th down are all on the mediums, as Bean comes across the line, got out of the throttle just before he crossed the line, which is interesting. But he'll be through on a 40.4, you would like to think. Stevo is P10, as I think that was Scott who's pushed him down. He's gone P8 with 141.1, so it looks like a mid to low 41, possibly. Crafty is yet to come out of the pit lane. He needs to come out of the pit lane very soon. Deadpool as well. The rest in the bottom 5 are on the laps. Jonesy's going to cross the line soon. Jules just started and Baggy's in the middle of his lap, so we'll see if Jonesy can get himself out of the bottom 5. Purple final sector, and he does.
Out the bottom 5 into the top 5 goes the Alfa Romeo, 40.6, as we see the Red Bull Gareth just getting in the way there. Gareth is somebody we've actually not talked about too much in this session. He's just kind of kept cards close to the chest, very much just keeping his pace quite hidden. Like, we've just not really seen him on the leaderboard to be on track, to be entirely honest. He's kind of done his laps completely under the radar for us. And Gareth is somebody like that does have like some good pace as well. So strong showing for Red Bull, strong showing for Alfa Romeo. Racing Point really looked to be the informed team in this early stage. It still is a bit early days, I think, personally. Racing Point really out here making a statement. Red Bull, Alfa Romeo, the sole Ferrari of Scott just creeping into the top 10 there. Steve-O is on an outlap, so he is going to be ready to go again, as is Crafty. He's going to be on the softs as well. Yep, he's on the softs, and Joe's on the softs. Baggy's in the pits, so he's
everyone's on. So Baggy's out then. He's in the pit lane. Someone's just jumped up.
Oh, Jules goes 7th. So the medium runners are starting to put in some fast times. And Jeff to start his flying lap.
Just chat action is popping off once again.
Oh, what's been said? We'll cover it. We'll cover it now.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, on you go.
I say Jonesy with 40.6, and I think, well, say a low 41. It's going to definitely be a low 41. It could be even a 40. It could be the time. Everyone in the 40s you think would be through, but you never know. Steve-O has yet to find his Q1 form.
Oh,
what's happened there?
I've just seen. I don't know if Jules had just made a mistake on the exit of turn 6, or he was just trying frantically to get out the way there, but it just looked like his Haas had just like spun off to the wall on the inside of turn 6 on the exit. But checkered flags out anyway. We've got Crafty, Steve-O, Crafty, and Paul all on a flying lap. We'll stay on board with Jester, considering that he is going to finish the lap first. Anybody. Paul, I don't know how much Paul's up by, but Jester's up by a second, so that will get him into the 140s at least.
1.5.
So if he can just keep that 17-18 clean up through the Rolex banner there, DRS flap's going to be opening just now, and it will stay open until he crosses the line. It's going to be a short run. Up to the line he goes. It's going to be a 140.8, and it's going to be 8 fastest. We'll quickly jump on board with Paul as he'll be next to cross the line. Up by 1.5 seconds as well. That's going to put him into the 141s. Only 13 fastest there for Paul. It's not enough. Steve-O's done by 4 tenths.
Steve-O 4 tenths, yeah. Not looking good. I don't think he can gain. I doubt he's going to gain a whole second in the final sector. Not looking good for the McLaren driver. Obviously all the points, and yeah, there is. He knew.
Oh, he's bailed. What was the lap in Q1? Was it a 141.2? Or was that a 140.2?
It was a 40.2.
Oh, that's the thing. He looked really good, and I mean, he said in the chat, "I hope I've no peaked." I mean, I'm hoping you've definitely got some good racecraft there. I mean, don't get me wrong, like Baku can be quite frantic on the start as well, so maybe being near the back is probably going to be a safe place for some of these drivers. Maybe they are just looking to start a bit further back and not be smack bang in the middle of the field, because it can so easily go wrong into like these. Because you've basically I'm literally looking at the circuit right now, right? And you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, arguably 7 right angled turns, one after the next. And like that is just in the fact the walls are right there on the edge of the track. It's very much like Monaco in that respect. There's a lot of danger for the drivers to just make a simple mistake and pick up some damage. It's probably, I mean, don't get me wrong, it gives you the free choice of tyre, so you can go in a completely different strategy as well in Baku. I mean, a safety car can come out and put you in good stead, or it can put you in the back foot. It really is just going to be a matter of what really happens in the race. I mean, you also want to qualify higher up, but it is what it is. Told you that I peaked early. I'm hoping you've no, Steve-O. I'm hoping you've no, and I'm trying to keep my biasness at it. But in terms of qualifying, no, we are going to see 10 drivers go through, and we're going to see DNF Plum, Scott just narrowly missing out there, as well as Paul. So they were just over a 10th between them and safety. Steve-O, just don't think he could have really got a lap together there. We saw him on that final run down by 4 tenths a second, and it's enough for 14th. And Baggy Fan pitted a bit early, and he wasn't out in time to set a lap at the end, so he'll be starting 15th. But we want to hear for you in the chat. We want to hear who you think is going to get pole, who's going to be in the top 3. So I'll ask Max that question when he's here. I don't know if I heard his mic.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah.
Oh, you're here.
I'm here.
And that's fine.
I had a quick conversation with another member of the household while you were doing the rundown. Pole position, I think, will go to Craig. That's what I'm going to say. Craig, followed by Dodgy, and then the rest.
Then the rest. You can work it. You can work it out amongst yourselves. Just the top 2. Just stay with. Just use 2, first and second. Rest can qualify anyway. But we want to hear for you. Who's your top 3? And I'm probably going to go with. I think Dodgy will get pole. I think SLR Bean could be a bit of dark horse here. Like, he's looked quite solid as well. He's just kind of, the Red Bulls have really just been under the radar for us. Like, we've not really seen them on circuit. So, and they've always kind of been on the top end of the charts. So we could maybe see Bean in second. I'll say Bean second, and I'll go with Craig in third. I think that'll be mine. I think Bean will just pull on it anyway.
Yeah, he's been pretty quick. We have a lot of cars in the same vicinity of each other, so there's going to be a bit of backing up having to go on. 9 cars now out on track. Only Gareth has yet to leave the pit lane. Maybe he wants some clear air while these lot sort themselves out.
We've also got Iron Benz in the chat saying Craig's in shape, looking good and sharp and inspiring. I mean, that's... I'd say so. He's definitely been up there. He's been there or thereabouts. He's always shown exceptional pace. It's really hard to really kind of like count him out of these kind of situations. I feel like Craig does have that extra 10 for 2 in his back pocket as and when he needs it. And I feel like he's definitely going to unleash that when he comes into the session. I feel like Craig is good enough for a top 3 qualifying start. Nicky asked, did I miss anything that was having a quick break? No, I don't. No, there's no missed anything. We're just getting ready for Q3, and we're on board with Crafty. We're just kind of near the back of this queue. Crafty's, I think Crafty and the Alfa Romeo Jonesy have done really well to kind of find themselves some space. I'm seeing the Haas of Jules basically right up the rear end of Jake Geddes on the outlap. So Jules is really just going to have the straight line speed getting into turns 1 and 3, but he's really going to have the dirty air everywhere else. So it's a strange tactic, so to speak. But we'll sit on board with Crafty as he's got nobody in front of him and he's got a bit of clear track. He's starting his lap just now into turn 1. He's taking a bit of curb on the outside there to try and help his turn into turn 1. Looks very smooth on the traction on the exit into turn 2. Misses the apex and nearly hits the outside wall there, but it isn't contact, which is going to be good for his lap. As he does just shoot down the straight into turn 3, shade there cast by the buildings into turn 3. Looked very smooth there down to second gear just for the extra bit of rotation into turn 3, turn 4, got a bit greedy in the curve there, nearly threw him into the wall there. We get yellow flags in sector.
Scott Laney's crashed.
Scott Laney.
Yeah, out of castle. Or spun out of castle.
I'm going to try and jump on board quickly. We've got some carbon fibre flying there. It looks to be off the Alfa Romeo, so I don't know if Jake Geddes is kind of caught up. We'll see if Scotland will jump on. Jake Geddes has got some damaged taste. I don't know if they've both just made the same mistake. Jake Geddes doesn't even... Oh, he does have a wing. The wing was just like a really a dark black colour there, and I thought it was no wing at all, but definitely got some damage on that left side, so I think they've both just maybe clipped the inside wall of the castle section. We've completely diverted for Crafty's lap, but it is Craig that actually just takes pole position. It's me that actually just kind of goes with the fastest lap there, and being the first driver into the 139s. Craig just narrowly missing out on the 139s there, but Jester's coming up to the line as well. He's not going to have a slipstream. We'll jump on board with him. It doesn't look to be a 139. It'll be a 140 at the very minimum. It's going to be a 141. It's a 141.8, and that's fifth fastest for the Crafty Jester, but we definitely know he is going to be quicker than that.
You said I think Bean's going to pull a lap out of somewhere, and he has listened to you, I think, and pulled a lap out of. Well, he's pulled out of the top drawer, I think, and said, "I'm here, everyone," and I think his teammate is here as well. He's gone purple for his sector 2. Siri has come up on my. For God's sake, I didn't.
Siri!
Hey Siri, he's gone purple for sector 2. Cheers.
Oh. And is it going to be purple lap? It's fourth for the Red Bull or Gareth, so Red Bull's really just kind of saying we're here to play, and I think Bean was just kind of keeping these cards close to his chest in the early sessions, and knows this is a chance to unleash the pace. This is what it actually means. This is the nitty gritty of the qualifying session. My top 3 they're all there, but they're in the wrong order. So if you don't mind shuffling that about, lads, I'd greatly appreciate that. But we've got the 2 Alfa Romeos back into the pits as well as Scott Laney. Scott Laney had his accident. Jake Gerris, I think, just had a similar incident at the castle section as well. Jonesy don't actually know what happened to him, but they're all back in the pit lane without setting a banker time. So that means... Oh, sorry.
I think Jonesy invalidated and just came in. Scott Lane's coming back out now, but he'll only get one go at it.
He's only going to really get one serious opportunity to try and get a very solid and representative time, and Jester, I think, will have time to come in and put another set of soft zone if he's got any spare. But Alfa Romeos, I think they might just be leaving it to the end. I don't suspect to see them out running between now and the next minute or so. I think they're going to just wait for the very end of the session where the track is arguably going to reach its peak. If he's needed time to kind of see what the pace is going to be like in Q3, you can share who you think is going to be on pole position, who's going to be the top 3 now. We've only had Benzi's suggestion for Craig being very sharp and inspiring. When he's currently second on the grid in the Alpha Tauri. So Craig will definitely be looking to try and find that extra couple of tenths as and when he finds it. We'll jump on board with Scott Laney as he will be getting ready to set another lap. So we will see what the Renault drivers go in that engine, what he's got in his back pocket. Is there anything else that we can be seeing or we're aware of on the circuit mix?
No, Crafty's coming back to the pit lane. Jay Geddes has now come out. So it's literally Scott Laney's about to start his lap. Jay Geddes will start his lap in a minute or so's time. Yeah, it's actually the Scott Laney show. The whole of Baku City Circuit all to himself.
Pretty much. He does run a bit wide at turn 1, knowing the Haas of Jules is just coming out the pit lane there, just waiting in behind. We've got the racing point of Carl Smith just down the road there. You'll see it faintly in the distance. Scott Laney's no opting for the slipstream there off the racing point. He does opt just down the main racing line as he comes into turn 3, just braking after the branches there. And he's getting so close to that one on the outside, and it was so close to just clipping the wing and taking a wee bit off the front wing of that Renault. But it looks to be very quick and slick so far. as he goes through turn 5 and 6. The exit of 6 looked a bit sluggish there, but doesn't seem to do too much damage to his time. Into 7, you've got the folk in the balcony there, just watching him go down this wee tight avenue up into the castle section. Nice turn in for turn 8, 9 and 10 there. It looks very smooth once again through 11. You can run a bit wide there and no pick up an invalidation. That somehow does count as part of the circuit. But through 12, 13 and into the hard braking zone of 14, you'll take this in about 3rd gear. Don't take too much of that curb. It does help, but when you try and take too much, it doesn't really help. It just throws you into the wall. Into 15, and it's just a big straight all the way to the line. It's got this wee left kink, and then it's quickly followed with this right kink, and then you've just got this big straight. You've got the DRS activation.
This is going to be good.
Coming up.
It's going
looks
to put.
be a fairly.
I'm going to say P3.
Sorry. I'm going to say 4th. Oh! Give yourself a pat on the back. That was brilliant calling there. Scott Laney's just having to dip into his back pocket for an extra couple of tenths. But anyway, Scott Laney just out of nowhere as well, just kind of completely shuffling the order at the front. And now we're going to see everybody just coming back out of the circuit. Gareth's pitty. He's still in the pits. He's not coming back out. So Gareth will be starting 5th at best, while everybody is getting ready to go and set a final flyer.
5th at best. Oh, that's good, and it looks like it will get worse. Because Cal Smith's not too far behind, and you'd think that Drafty, Jules, Jonesy, Jay Geddes, Svatch completed lap possibly have the pace. We'll wait and see, of course. Does Jay Geddes hunt for a toe? It would be a long range toe. But...
Oh, it's a toe nonetheless. His car's hitting 210 down the straight. Into 7th it goes.
Just P7 for the moment.
We'll sit on board with Jay Geddes because the toe can help him down into turn 3, and it's helping Bean with the toe off of Craig in front. So Jay Geddes, in the faintest form, is getting a double toe effectively. But he's going to have to be wary, because when you're getting a toe, you're going to have to kind of slightly mix up your reference points a wee bit and just break that bit earlier, just to be sure that you're going to be making the turn. But the checkered flag is about to drop for the final qualifying session. You'll see it there. These laps are going to be final. Everybody except for Gareth is out looking to improve on the laps, and we see an improvement there for Cal Smith just outside the top 3 there. Checkered flag falls and he goes 4th fastest, 140.2 for the Racing Point driver. Jonesy isn't any better than 9th, so it is Jay Geddes that will be the lead alpha coming out of this race, regardless of improving on this lap or no. Scott Laney's coming out of the pits, so he'll not be improving on his lap of P3.
Dodgy's almost 7 tenths up for the first 2 sectors, by the way.
Oh, we'll jump on board with Dodgy as he is just coming up to the line. DRS is going to be open just now. You'll hear the wee dink. There you go. And it's going to be up to the checkered flag. You're going to see it waving on the left-hand side. Up to the line he goes for a wider line, and it is pole position as it stands. It is pole position. Has been on route to try and improve. Is he up?
Don't know. Craig's up by 2 tenths. I haven't seen what Bean's doing.
We'll just stay on board with Bean. Craig is coming up to the line. Craig is going to go 3rd fastest. He is going to stay 3rd, but it's going to be Bean that takes pole. Improvement a 2 tenths of a second. Sees him put in a 39.4 and goes just over a 10 faster than Dodgy, who will be sharing the front row with Craig in 3rd, Scott Laney in 4th, Cal Smith in P5, Gareth in P6, Jay Geddes and Jester on the 4th row, and Jonesy and Jules rounding out the top 10. Steve-O's asking what the lottery numbers are. Mystic Net, that is your new name.
I would love to know.
Magicians don't reveal their secrets. Don't reveal their secrets, rather. But it has been on the day, and I mean, I don't want to sound like a blow my own trumpet, but I'll take Bean on pole, Dodgy second, and Craig in 3rd. I did say the total 3, it just wasn't in that order, but I mean, you'll take them when you get them. But we are going to be hitting a small interval, so this is going to be your time to go and get the kettle on, get a wee toilet break in. As we see Nicky did to his during Q2 for whatever reason. But get your toilet breaks in, get the kettle on, get the dinner in, get yourself comfy on the couch with your pals, or get yourself all cozied up in your bed. We're going to be ready for 26 laps of the Azerbaijan street circuit in the capital city that is Baku. I'm very much looking forward to this race. Baku in Division 3 just kind of seem to go hand in hand in my opinion. They're both just very hectic, chaotic and very unpredictable. A combination of the both can just see something completely left field, so I don't even want to begin trying to guess who's going to win this race. But if you're feeling brave enough, let us know in the chat and we'll read some of your predictions out. Ben says he is comfy, don't worry. I don't worry, I am not worrying. I'm glad to hear it. But it is going to be Bean that does take pole position by just over a tenth of a second with Dodgy. They're going to be on the front row coming into this race. Craig just missing out there, does get himself into the 139s, but it wasn't enough for pole on the day, but he'll be glad to start in P3. Scott Laney just a lap out of nowhere again in P4. Cal Smith in P5. Garrison P6. 8-10 shy like off his teammate. He'll definitely look to be doing better in the race. Gareth is extremely good in the race. Qualifying's not his strongest suit. Jig Edison, Jester, and it's going to be Jonesy and Jules in the top 10.
I'm going to take a break.
Wow.
I'm going to take a quick comfort break before the race, so I'll see you guys.
Right, not before you go. Is it genuinely how that sounds when I say 6?
I think he's probably exaggerating a little bit. I think I can hear it more now that he said it, but before I wasn't really. I didn't pay attention to that. It's just that.
Right.
It's just,
that's fine.
I'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Right, no worries. So you're left. I'll still be here though, so don't worry. I'll be here to take any. If you've got any questions, predictions for the race, if you're feeling brave enough, go for the fastest lap. Tell me who's going to get that. Who's going to be the top 3? I'll definitely not be predicting that. I'm going to change my mind when Metis comes back anyway, so we'll probably discuss who we think is going to be the top 3. What I hear for you is who do you think is going to be the top 3, and if you're feeling brave, tell us who you think is going to have the fastest lap at the end of the race. So I'm very much looking forward to this. The skies look to be fairly clear, the weather looks to be very sunny. So there doesn't look to be any real looming threat of rain. So I'm very much looking forward to this. A dry race is just as exciting as a wet race here in Baku. So I'm very much looking forward to that. And I think turn 1 will be one to watch. It'll be very. I think drivers will be a bit ambitious because you always want to make places at the start, but it's really easy to get it all wrong in there. There's plenty of space. You might not think it, but there's plenty of space on the outside of the track. Everybody will be trying to go up the inside, so I wouldn't be too surprised to see some drivers maybe trying to like shuffle their car to the far right of the circuit and go round the outside of turn 1. The wall on the outside of 1 does come in quite abruptly, but it isn't enough to really say like, oh, I'm not going for it. It is, if you've got respect for the driver and the driver's got respect for you on the inside, then he'll give you the space. So I do feel that drivers will be a bit punchy off the start, which is what I very much love to see. Like I do like to see drivers being punchy and aggressive on the start, so be it they're clean, because getting places off the start can be crucial to your race strategy. Like you could definitely, like, it's the same with like qualifying. Not everybody's a qualifier. Some folk are racers, and their cars maybe just more suited to race trim. So I'm looking forward to see if that is the case for some drivers. So I wouldn't be too surprised to see some drivers for the midfield just try and like carve their way through the field like a hot butter, like a hot knife through butter. But it is. It's definitely going to be one of the races. I'm very much looking forward to it. So, very much like to hear from you, Merck, since I can hear your mic rustling.
Yes.
So just tell us what you think is going to happen, because I've just shared my piece on what I think might happen in the race. I've no gave predictions though, so I don't know if I want to or not.
Have a quick look at the race director and see what's going on. But I do imagine the winner will be inside the top 10. It's going to be a long one. I'm going to say let's have a wild card of Crafty for the win.
Crafty starts P
8. The bottom 5 are all starting on high compound tyres at the moment. Go for the alternate strategy.
Go longer.
Yeah, but I imagine, well, their plans could easily get scuppered by a safety car, or 2, or 3. Who knows?
Or 4.
Oh, so I have 5.
I don't know. I don't know why I thought like you were just gonna keep going up to 5 because I think I heard them saying 5 was the limit for a race.
Yeah, it is.
So
The most I've had is myself is 4, I think. But yeah.
Does that count visual Virgil safety cars as well?
I don't know. I did literally had, I think, my the records the other day. I was involved in a race with 4 safety cars and 1 VSC, so basically covered the whole race. So. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. I haven't seen anything more than that, but I remember Abu Dhabi we had at least 4 safety cars for Division 3 as the session counter starts to tick down. But yeah, I'm going to say Craft is Chester for the win. I probably just jinxed him, so I'm really sorry.
Sorry, Crafty. Sorry, it is what it is. But like, I'm gonna be brave. I don't know. I genuinely don't care. I don't think it's going to be like a lights to flag for being. I don't know what Dodge and Craig. They have qualifying pace, but race pace is like completely different. Like having a car that's got good race trim is different to a qualifying car. So it really depends what kind of setup they've went with. Like Scott Laney was somebody we didn't even consider to be in the top 5. Never mind 4th. Like, and he's in a really strong position. He could have a car set up for a race that's better suited to the race situation than the top 3 day. Like Cal Smith was somebody we tipped to do well in Monaco, and then we just threw the jinx on him, and he just got absolutely put in the bin. Like we've got Gareth, who's not really been the strongest in qualifying, but he always seems to make his way in the race. You've got Jester, who's got extremely good racecraft, and he can cut his way through the field. Like, you've got Jones, who can just, he's able to make the best out of a bad situation. Like, they're all really good at their own thing, and that's why it's really hard to really just go, you're the winner, you're the outright winner in my mind, or you're going to be there, or you're going to be this, or whatever. And that's why I'm finding it hard to pick a driver. But if I pick somebody,
that's why I picked someone from 8th on the grid, because you just don't know.
Exactly. I'm fancying somebody outside like, there's a crash on the formation lap there.
Who's that?
Cal's just sent spinning on his formation lap in the Alfa Romeo. Jonesy seemed to the way, so Cal's lost it on the formation lap coming out of turn 14. So, I mean, the last time I seen somebody crash on the formation lap, it was I ken you were going to say for starting, but that was the formation lap. That was the installation lap. The last, I mean, I was probably somebody between then and now, but I remember DC crashing the formation lap like 25 years ago when he was leading in the Williams. He was on the formation lap and he spun at Monza. But there's probably somebody that's crashed on the formation lap before. So if you want to maybe correct me in that, feel free to do so. But we are going to get ready. Max is going to be Crafty. I will go with Gareth. I'll go with Gareth. I'm going with Gareth. That's mine. But I'm going to say somebody outside the top 10's get the podium. No telling you who, just somebody. But anyway, we're going to take our positions and we're going to see the 5 lights coming on in a few moments' time. So it eats a lot is him to take up his place at the back of the grid. And the lights are being turned on, and we're at 4 lights, we're at the 5 lights. The 5 lights are on, the cars are revving, the lights are about to go off, and we're about to go racing. As Bean looks to get a good start, but you can see Gareth there on the right hand side getting a good start there, him to pull out there, and Bean makes it into turn 1 fairly cleanly there as Dodgy and Craig have to slip in behind. There's a spin already, there's contact with the Red Bull of Gareth, so that causes doing its magic really earlier in this race, and there's a VSC, and that's Jester at the back of the field, I believe.
There it
Me
is.
and Merckx.
There it is.
Merckx, no, it's happened. What's this?
The two
why
people we predict for the win get involved in an incident of their own. I mean, you couldn't write it, could you?
Oh my god. Nah, we might have to just take a step back for Division 3. We need to stop crossing these drivers. We need to just stop doing it. But we'll get the... Right, once they go through the Delta line for Sector 1, the...
Just like Dingle Dolphin definitely isn't leading the Grand Prix.
I mean, his Western start completely went under the radar if that was the case, but it does seem to be being the top 5 remain unchanged. Gareth has lost 6 places, everybody behind is up 1, 2, Jonesy, Jules up 2, Scott's got a really good start up 3. Scott's always been one for a good start, so he's once again really kind of making good work on that launch from the standstill. Plum's up 1 place, Paul's up 2, Gareth's down by 6, he got caught up in an incident. It looked to be with the Alpha Tauri, Craig, it looked to be an Alpha Tauri. I could be wrong, I might need to see a replay. As we see Dodgy getting a bit of a slide on the exit of 15 there on the curb, but you can see Jester there right at the bottom, Merckx's prediction for the win, and Sprightly's retired, and that might be a full safety car, because that's right on the racing line. Sprightly's just no had the best luck coming into this race, but we've got his teammate right in the slipstream of Dodgy, and he isn't quite close enough to make a move into turn 1, as they all ghost for me for some reason.
Same here, but I think that's just the visual glitch, as far as I'm aware. I'm pretty sure they'd all be solid for them. I hope.
No,
Yeah.
And we're seeing some... Sorry to cut across you there, Max. We're seeing some pit work already. We Plum in the pits. We've got Baggy, Steve-O and Dingle Dolphin all in the pit lane, and they'll be looking to go on. Steve-O's on the hards, Dingle Dolphin's on the hard, Baggy fans onto the hards, or Dingle's onto the mediums. Yellow flags at 1. That seems to be for the Mercedes of... it looks to be Sir Eats a Lot, as he's at the back.
Yes, that would be him. See if he's got damage.
Sir Eats a Lot hasn't had the best start to the race either. He has up 4 places though, so nothing. He's not really lost it too much, but damage will set him back once he comes in to get that fixed when he comes in. But we'll hide that menu and we'll sit on board. His Plum is the race leader, which the graphics glitch is still playing up, so please just bear with us. We apologise for that. But it is Bean that is leading this race, and he's already broke free from the grasp of the DRS. As we see him just going through turn 15 there, and we're on board with Craig, who is in a Racing Point sandwich at the minute, and you can see already on the minimap there's a big gap behind Scott in 9th to Paul in 10th, and that is going to be crucial as well. So there's a big gap already there. Paul's on the hards and he's in the points already. Yellow flags at the castle, that looks to be amongst the drivers that are pitting as the VSC does come out, and we're going to maybe see some drivers jumping into the pit lane. Scott Laney's coming in, so Scott Laney's gone really slow though. On
no.
Scott, no! I jumped on board with Scott, right? I jumped on board with Scott to see if he was coming into the pits, and it looked like he had the pit limiter on already, and he was nowhere near the pit line, like the pit limiter, and then he was going like 30 mile an hour in 4th gear, and his car was just like, it was just like kind of like chugging along, and then he turned it off to speed up to try and minimise the time that he was losing, and then he picked up a penalty for speeding. So it's not been the best luck for Scott Laney.
Yeah.
As well.
I can tell you
what the... Oh, sorry.
PSC came out for, by the way. It was for Sir Eatsalot has lost the whole of his front wing, so I believe he was the one who caused all the yellow flags, and I think that must have been for this debris, so that's 2 virtual safety cars in the first 2 laps.
And so the VSCs count towards the maximum of 5 safety cars. Scott's getting a bit of a slide on, sorry Max. Scott's getting a bit of a slide on to the castle.
Wow, Jaguars has lost a bit of front wing, I think, as I just went on board there. Yeah.
Scott's just went for it there. Yeah. I don't know, Max. That just looked to me, like Scott was just driving straight into the back of him regardless of what was happening, but Scott just had reactions there, and I think Jay Geddes maybe just kind of said, like, you don't have damage, I've got damage, I'll just kind of let you have it, plus Ferrari power and Ferrari power. So, Scott started. Oh, Cal, we'll jump on Cal as he does get by Craig. Craig, don't know what's happened to Craig. He does look to be slowing coming into the pits. He's got damage.
Quite slow.
He's
damage. Oh.
Jonesy's coming in, and he's got damage, but he's got to serve a drive-through as well. And Scott is up to 4th after 4 laps. He's in P4. He started 12th. He didn't get into Q3. He just narrowly missed it. He was a 10th shy to get into the shootout for pole position, and he's already. He is 7 seconds behind Cal in P3, but Scott is went from 12th to 4th in a matter of 4 laps. And that just kind of like underlines the fact that he is one to watch on these starts time and again. He's just showing us that he is just able to hook it up and just get some good purchase on the lights. I don't know about you, but is the chat just quiet or is it no worse? The last time depends exactly.
Yeah, I think it's just quiet. Not much going on at the moment. There's a yellow flag as Dodge has crashed at Castle.
Oh,
he spun it round and got going again, but he's had a bit of an off at Castle, and that Scott, just by virtue of keeping it clean, may shortly find his way into a podium position. Long way to go in Chevette though.
Still 22 laps of this race to get buckled in for, but Scott and Paul as well, like, we'll no discredit Paul. Paul is also up 8 places. Scott's teammate Maxwell's up 9 places. Ned Claw's up 8 places into the points. So all 4 drivers getting some really good starts. Whether it is actually by luck or it's just by, you were saying, virtue of just keeping it clean on the start and just keeping it clean through the castle section and everywhere else in between. These 4 drivers have really benefited by jumping and getting themselves into some healthy points paying positions. Looking at the grid as well, Craig's lost it. I think he's coming to pit. Dodge is coming to pit for some repairs. As we see, Crafty's up into 6th, despite his spin.
I mean,
so,
that is pretty ridiculous. He started 8th, got spun round by Gareth right into last place, and it's by we're on lap 5 and he's back up in 6th place. I have no idea how that's happened, but he's kept it clean after his spin. He didn't pick up any damage, he just got spun around and that was it. And he just kept his head down and he's back in contention, albeit 20 odd seconds off the lead.
That's exactly it. I feel like with what we saw, I don't really know what happened to Jester. He was kind of buried in the pack at the start, so I didn't really see what exactly happened. He would probably, it's a really tight turn 1, so so getting clipped anywhere probably isn't too surprising. Again, saying that with a bit of respect, but like, it is a really tight turn 1, so he's probably just picked up he's probably just like been clipped to somewhere, and the only real damage he looks to have suffered from is maybe just the fact that the rears were overheating when he was trying to turn the car back round, but that is probably it. Like, look at Maxwell.
No. I was literally on board with Scott Laney as that happened.
I was on board with Jester in front, just looking behind, and you just seen his car just coming over the bump and just shooting to the right hand side, and that's going to do some damage, and it has, you can see it, the front left end plate on that Ferrari wing is gone, so he's going to have some big oversteer run.
The 2 Alfa Romeos are going at it, by the way. And well, there's a train behind Steve-O for no points at the moment. They're going at it.
And
Cal Smith in the pits as well.
And you've got Dingle Dolphin just like jumping onto the end of this wee train as well. So Steve-O's going to be under fire once the DRS detection zone hits. So hit it there, and the DRS activation is just a few 100 metres down the road, and you can see Jonesy's already buried himself behind the rear wing of Steve-O, and Steve-O's just no defending it. And is it going to get two alphas? Steve-O does fight out defending for Jay Geddes. Steve-O's holding it round the outside, and he still keeps it, but I think a bit oversteer there does shoot Steve-O back right into the path. The Alfa Romeo driver of Jay Geddes, and it's Scott Laney. Scott Laney is just falling down the order. What's happened? I don't actually know, but it seems to be turn 4. Have we seen any damage on the Renault?
Yeah, he's got damage.
Right now, yep. This race just might come down to the fact that it might be a race of attrition, Max. It might just be a matter of how many front wings you get through, because we've seen a fair bit of carbon fibre being scattered across the circuit, and I don't really know what happened to Scott Laney there, but that's definitely going to deal some damage to his aspirations. As we will jump back on board with Steve-O, as he is split, as he is planted right in between the two Alfa Romeos. As we go through the castle section, you can see Jones on Steve-O's got the one. He's lost his front left end plate there, and it just seemed to be a very sharp turn to the left, and I feel it was a bit early, but you can see Jay Geddes, just jumping past there on the inside, and one Alfa Romeo made it past, and the other one is shortly followed, and Jonesy's just went and hit the wall, and I don't know if he's got damage. He's hit the wall on the outside of 14. Has he got damage? Yep, the front right end plate's away.
Scott has just pitted from second place, and he's picked up damage before he pitted, so yeah, it's all going off at the moment. Bean, however, is love and life in first place.
Definitely, as a 20-second buffer he's got to his teammates. There's a Red Bull 1-2, and I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say anything. It could be proven wrong. It could happen. So I'm going to keep my mouth shut in terms of predictions and everything else. But it is a Red Bull 1-2. Paul finds himself up in third, and has he made a pit stop? I don't think he has. No, he's not. He is on the hard has up 10 places into that elusive podium place, as he immediately just loses it to Cal Smith there as soon as I say it. But I'm quite surprised at the fact that Scott has went onto the mediums rather than the hards. Like, is he maybe banking on a second safety car?
Well,
a safety car?
Yeah. I've seen that a lot of people who've come into the pits have put on the medium compound tyres. Cal Smith on the medium tyres, Craig on the medium tyres, Dodgy I think on the medium tyres. A lot of people have gone on the medium tyres, so Scott as well on the medium tyres. See what Bean goes on. He goes on the hard compound tyres, so he'll come out in the lead, I believe, is Gareth Pitts. So double stack at Red Bull. There's enough of a gap for that not to be affected as he comes out into lead once again.
Sorry.
What's going on here?
Sorry to cut off your Mercs. We've got Dodgy getting up the inside of Ned Claw into turn 1 to get P5. Gareth will be coming out behind. Looks to be Jules we managed to get by. He might just be put behind Jester as well, as he is onto the hard tyres. I don't know why the Red Bull's been stationary for some time on the minimap. So
he had a 5 second penalty for spinning. Oh, well, I don't know if it was that, but he got a 5 second penalty at the start for hitting Crafty. So obviously had a wing change, so that took a while.
So the two drivers that we had predicted to win hit each other. Great. just great. But one driver that we kind of hyped up in qualifying but haven't really spoke too much about in the race, Craig, he is in 4th and he has pitted for medium. So as the medium runners leaning to a 2-stop then? Is that the impression that they're kind of trying to get off? 100%
if you're pitting on the mediums, you're going for 2-stop. Unless you drag the softs a long way, 100% that's a 2-stop. It'd be a miracle if you took them to the end from here.
definitely. I mean, I would like to know your skills. And Craig just kisses the wall there. I don't think he picked up any damage. I didn't see any carbon fibre flying off the car. But I think Paul will be kind of relieved to see that Craig was getting a bit keen on the exit there. And he is still in the slipstream, though. Paul trying to break the slipstream, trying to break the dirty air. And I mean, he's going to have to be careful. You can't go weaving about, but Paul's going to keep that car to the left as much as he can, and Craig going to try go round the outside. Paul keeps it tight, but he runs wide. He's going to allow Craig to push back at Craig as they take avoiding action. A big swerve there for the AlphaTauri driver. It's Paul just comes back across the track there. I think Paul just had a big slapper on the exit, and now Craig's going to be the one doing the defending. It's going to be Paul doing the chasing this time around. Paul is on the hards, Craig on the mediums. Paul will be looking to try and nuss his hard tyres and try and last longer in this race on the stint. But you've got Craig looking like he is going to two-stop, so this is going to be a big play for Craig if he can just try and break the DRS and just try and bring in Cal Smith in front. 4.7 seconds the gap, and this is pretty much what it is. So I think you're rightly saying medium runners are definitely looking to do a two-stop. But I don't know. I don't really think. I don't know. I don't think it will work. But it's really just going to be. I think it might be close. It really depends if there's a VSC getting thrown into the mix or if there's a big accident, the safety car comes out. It really does just come down to the variables. But we've got Jester on the mediums as well, so he's looking to do a two-stop as well. But I think he might be fine. Mediums can maybe last if you nuss them, but you need to do on his tap Jules, and I don't think he has picked up damage. We'll jump on board with Jules to see if we can get a close up of the Williams in front. Behind, sorry. It looks to be in fairly good nick.
Mercedes. So each lot has put it in the wall. I was just going to say that Dodgy put it in the wall as well. He came into the pit lane again to change his front wing. So he's dropped it back down to 11th. He's put on hards and he'll take them to the end of the Grand Prix. Oh my word! And
sorry, it's a lot. Safety car.
I've just watched. I was just on board with Rateslot, and he's just understeered completely into the wall on the exit of turn 4, and that is going to throw the race on its head a little bit. I think as we start, double stack at Alfa Romeo.
And
that was a massive crash.
And this is interesting. This is interesting. Because
no, Jay Geddes has had to wait for about a year.
X. It
yes.
depends how long this safety car's out for. And it depends how the drivers manage the car. But medium runners that have just pitted, like 3 laps ago, like I'd maybe say between this lap and the last 3 kegs, maybe a stretch. But see the medium runners that have done like 2 laps, 3 laps, just pitting medium zone, they could probably manage 16 laps if they nuss the tyres. So this can be interesting. It's just a matter of how quick they drop off at the end. And it's saying that, but the hards are actually they're a fairly decent race tyre in Baku. They're actually got a good feel to them. Like, so I don't know why maybe drivers aren't really opting for the hards. I feel like the hard tyres, the hard tyre runners that started on hard tyres at the start have been dealt a bad hand here because they need to come in or just stay out and hope there's another one coming. Because I mean, like, what else can you really do? Paul's in the pits anyway. Nedclaw's coming out the pits. They started on the hards, so they'll be coming in to see what Paul's on the medium, so he's going to try and go to the end. Nedclaw, I'm assuming, will be the same. He has 7 a 5-second penalty, so we'll come back to him. Jester coming round to take P4. Craig will take P3 because the speed limit does they apply to the pit lane exit, so Craig will just get that in front of Jester. But Paul's going to come out in P5 on fresh medium, so Paul could potentially be one to watch this race in this final stint.
What tyres are people on? Yeah, it could be. I'm still adamant that won't get to the end of the Grand Prix, but it remains to be seen. I think, I mean, depends on how long it's going. It could stretch them. It's going to be close. They're going to be crying at the end, I think. I think he'll just be alright if the safety car comes. Let's say that for another couple of laps. Nicola as well. Jonesy, Jules, and Stevo also. Rest on hards. Maxwell's 4-lap old mediums will definitely have to pit again. Megavan is last on track at the moment, is in the pits. I imagine he's going to put on the hards. Crafty, I think, will have to pit again, unless he's a tyre saving god. Besides that, all the hard runners will aim to go to the end of the Grand Prix. It depends on the situation of safety cars and all that jazz, but yeah, they're all starting to form behind the safety car. I think we'll have to wait for a bit especially for Baggy to catch up and the rest of the pack as well. And as long as nobody hits people behind the safety car, we should all be fine.
Definitely, the drivers will be trying to actively avoid making contact, because not only they can pick up damage, they could ruin the drive of the driver in the front, and they can also pick up a penalty. It's very easy to do so, so they'll be just extra alert when it comes to the restart. As long as the FIA and the stewards in the game don't leave the call for the safety car to come in very late, and I think everything will be fine, because restarting in Baku can be a very dangerous endeavour if you've got the whole pack just right behind you, like hungry wolves just ready to take you for what you've got. And when you're the lead driver, so when you're leading, and if the safety car comes in really late and it doesn't tell you until like the last possible moment, you're going to have Cal Smith and Craig and Jester. Paul's on fresh mediums tape. You've got your teammate in sixth. You've got everybody basically just clipping at the heels like they wee angry ankle biter dogs, like just barking at you, like they're just ready to take you for everything. So Bean's going to have to be tactical in terms of when he's going to punch it and he's going to go. But we'll use this small period to say that we've actually got some chat action. We've got Nicky saying this is content. It is content. This is Division 3, always content. We've got Owen Hill saying up to Gary. Gary is, if that's you meaning Gareth. And we've got Nicholas saying come on Mikey Plum, which is, I'm assuming, is Plum Gorilla. Well, formerly Gorilla is DNF Plum.
I shouldn't have.
So.
Dear. He's actually made 4 stops, by the way.
Let's see.
Still.
I mean, don't get me wrong, right? We said the same. Like, was it us in commentary for Monaco? Because I'm sure I've seen Baggy Fan lapped, and he finished fifth or sixth.
Yeah, he was lapped and managed to return. He's the only person we're waiting for.
You can never know really what happens, but so they. I don't know. I'm trying not to laugh. I don't want to come off as a badge in there, but I'm trying not to. Like, I don't know why. I just like looked out and I was like kind of like, you just kind of like look at it subconsciously. But I mean, you never know. Like, see, the thing is, like, I'm sure Jensen Button won the 2011 Canadian Grand Prix in like six stops. So, no saying it's impossible. No saying it can't happen. So you can see someone was just laughing in the chat, just like, he's made 4 stops in 11 laps, and then I'm just gonna be like, aye, but he's won the race. Like, I mean, he's not won the race. It's a very big ask to win the race when you're last and everything else. But you never know. Like, things could just work out. Like it did for Jensen Button that day. Like, it can really just kind of come out of the blue. So we'll get a wee look at everybody while we're under the safety car. I like to just like scroll. I like to just scroll through the field when everybody's behind the safety car because we like to see what everybody's up to.
Safety car should be in this
Um,
lap as Baggy Fan has now rejoined the snake behind the safety car. And we should. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the safety car will be pulling in at the end of the lap, and we hopefully won't see too much carnage. But safety cars breed safety cars, as they say. So we might see a couple of incidents.
Yellows breed yellows, and that's the thing as well. Like, one thing we've kind of got today, and we can just put a pin in it because it's not really happened. We're not at that stage in the race yet. But if something like this was to happen in, say, like 5 laps time, put lap 20, then yellows could definitely breed more yellows because drivers will know that they're on no stretch. They'll need to kind of start putting some moves in. Safety cars should be coming in. See, that's the thing, right? And I'm not saying it just to kind of be like nitpicky, but it's telling there it's coming in. It didn't even
And it's
tell.
already going.
Oh, and there we go. Talking about safety car collisions, like collisions under the safety car. We've just seen Crafty pick up a 5-second penalty for that, so he's made contact with Craig, which is.
I think he made contact with Deadpool, so I think Deadpool's actually hit from behind. And he's hit from behind again. Oh, Deadpool's got damage.
Oh, and he's got another one!
Oh no. They're off anyway.
And Paul's been caught napping as the top 4, or the top 3 have definitely just kind of broke away from the train. Jester's just in no man's land, and Paul's been caught napping, and it's going to be Cal Smith trying to go to the inside, round to the outside, a SLR Bean as we get the race back under green, and Cal's looking punchy, Max. I'm on board with Craig, and he's looking really punchy. Craig looks really close. Oh, and Cal's got a bit of wheel spin on there on the rears. Cal's got some straight line speed though, so I think he's just running his ERS and his engine next to Rich. So Cal's doing everything he can at this stage to keep his second place. As we sit on board the broadcast cam now, but Crafty really got a bit of work today, especially. I mean, he'll be making a wee trip to the steward's office, arguably after this race anyway, due to the penalties. So, but right now it's just a matter of putting your blinkers on and just running forward like a horse on the racetrack and just charging up. So, what are you saying, Max?
Dodgy just made a move on Gareth in the middle sector, in the sector 1. Just about made it stick. He went deep into the chicane after there, and kept it just out of the wall. As he got Deadpool with wing damage, he's managed to pull away a little bit because of them battling, but yeah, he's going to start holding up a train unless he pits soon, or if he even decides to pit. Yeah, there's a battle for the lead and a lot of battles further back.
And we're going to have Cal Smith right on the rear wingy SLR. Bean's going to DRS isn't enabled until the next lap. Yellow flags and free. Seems to be the Williams a baggy fan, so his full stop strategy is kind of hit the water now as he tries to get his car facing the right direction. Cal Smith's going to go round the outside though, and he's lagged backwards, and Bean keeps the place, defending brilliantly against the Racing Point, who to be quicker at this stage. And he gets close to the wall on the inside of turn 2 as well, but Bean, you can just notice Bean Max just punching it off these exits, off these slow 90-degree turns. He's always able to just get the fit in that bit earlier, punch the ERS button as early as he's got traction, and he's just able to keep building wee gaps, so it doesn't allow Cal to get a move in and get a luck in to the lead of the race. But is there any other battles up and down the field? We've got Dodgy right behind Paul.
Yeah, I was just about to mention that. It was, I think Maxwell had a look on Nedcore, but Nedcore literally slammed the door right in his face. As he had a look up the inside into turn 3. But yeah, they're all kind of just following each other at the moment, rather. And just Jonesy, I think, has made a mistake somewhere. So he's now got Steve-O and Scott Laney. What's going on? Or who are you going to sneeze?
I was just on Paul's! No, on Paul's! On! Oh! On!
I've just...
That was just... Oh! I was on board with Dodgy, and Dodgy just kind of had a bit of.
Oh my
Oh,
word.
Paul's just hitting every wall, just leaving his mark. Yellow flags.
Baggy
no safety
fans.
car,
Oh,
Paul's
what's
just
Paul
gone.
going?
Paul's.
Oh my word. Oh my
Oh,
word.
watch! No! Oh, thank God, Ghostin was on there because I was on board. I was on
Oh
board with
my
Maxwell going
God.
through there, and everybody's going to pick up a place. Paul, and
Oh
just
wow,
looking
Baggy's had
at
a
it,
massive
and,
crash.
and Baggy's had one tail off camera. What's? Oh my! The safety car, quite rightly, is out once again in this race, and I think that's with good purpose because Paul's right on the racing line. Like, I mean, thankfully, and Baggy's on the racing line on the back of the circuit as well. So that's the thing as well. I was on board with Dodgy that full time, and Paul was just hitting the wall, hitting the wall, hitting the wall, hitting the wall. It was like what I felt like I was in a pinball machine, just watching him just jump up and down the machine, and just like, kind of like just hitting every wall in between. So Paul really just completely losing momentum, and eventually, once you lose his momentum, he just lost his wing, and then he just lost his wheel, and then he's lost his in the race. So he is retired and out of the race. I mean, it's definitely been a scary moment for everybody just getting by because his car was firmly planted on the racing line, and it's times like that where we can actually thank the rules in terms of ghosting being on, because if that was off, like we saw Maxwell was just straight through it. Like he didn't the Santino Ferrucci approach to things. When he sees a yellow flag in IndyCar, he just puts the fit down. Like yellow's technically green to him, so like Maxwell just kind of went straight through Paul. So if the ghosting wasn't on, Maxwell would have been hit, and then there would have been more damage, and then it would have been like a ricochet effect. Like Maxwell would have picked up damage, and then there was him would have crashed and retired, and then because it's such a blind turn and you're taking it flat, aye, yellows are out, you're going to have to slow down, safety car's going to make you go to a delta. But if the ghosting wasn't on and the yellow flags weren't quick enough and you weren't really sure where the incident was, obviously you'll see it on the map, but you don't really care exactly where the car's planted on the track, so you're kind of getting into that fast right blind. Well, you do in a race situation anyway, so seeing two cars or whatever just piling up there, maybe like you gotta be like, what's this? Like,
yeah.
SBH says Maxwell saw his life flash between his eyes at that moment. I definitely. I feel like, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm not even driving the car, and I was on board with Maxwell, and I mean, my heart nearly fell at my back end. Like, it was just like, like I was honestly, I completely forgot ghosting was the thing, and I thought he was just gonna end up retiring. Like, I thought it was just gonna be it.
Yeah. I have to say, it's still quite brave to go through there. But yeah, I mean, obviously some other people would hit him, and yeah, I think as Jay Gez gets the point of hitting his teammate, I think that it's obviously good that ghosting's on in that situation because we don't have red flags in this game, and if a car crashed there in real life, then it would be a red flag. And well, if people were rushing through that quickly, then it would have been an airplane crash. With ghosting off, and that would have been a lot more than just one DNF in that situation there. And it would have been great for a few drivers. But yeah, as we can't have a red flag in the game, it's just, I think that's obviously helped them with the ghosting being on and stopped a lot more carbon fibre and wheels flying off. As for Baggy, I'm not quite sure how he ended up in the position, but he was facing backwards. On that second left-handed kink. So he's obviously ripped his wheel off and spun round and ended up backwards in the wall. So we'll have to wait and see what happens to him there, but unfortunately for him, just really seemed to get going for the Williams driver today. Yes, 16 runners. Maxwell has decided to chuck himself on the softs. He's got nothing to lose, and safety car may be in his lap, actually. It is. So I'll let you take over.
I actually think Maxwell might be the one to watch here, because I'm surprised nobody really followed suit, because you're still in that prime windy. to go in softs to the end, and the car's going to be the lightest it's going to be the quickest it's going to be, the track's going to be the grippiest it's going to be. It's just at its best. And I'm surprised, and we're seeing another 5-second penalty. We've seen someone saying in the chat saying SC Penston being hit from behind is a bit poor, so to speak. But we've got Craig and Cal going to go side by side down this big straight. We'll try and get a good camera angle there. As you see that AlphaTauri tucking into the slipstream of the racing point. Is he going to try and make a move? Cal Smith does just take the main racing line there. Craig is just going to sit behind. Is it going to kick off down the field as we see?
Oh, Nedco.
Going wide there. Going a bit wide there into turn 1. Oh, and he's tapped! And that's late. And he's going to see Steve-O and Scott just drive by as they go side by side down into turn 3. Steve-O and Scott basically going to be a drag race down to the bottom of the end of the circuit here, the bottom of the street, into turn 3. Scott's in the inside. Steve-O hods it around the outside. Scott does tap the inside to try and avoid hitting the McLaren, but great defence there for Steve-O. Gave him the perfect amount of space. Scott, I think, was just being a bit cautious going into turn 3. And he really go locking up his brakes and taking the McLaren way him. I think either of them are just like, they're not like that as drivers. I think that was very good respect between the two there, but Scott will definitely be looking to try and find a way past Steve-O. But Steve-O's on the mediums though, so I don't know if Steve-O might try and keep an eye on Scott, or he'll try and go and bring Jules in, because Jules is on the same tyres. There's a 1 lap difference in terms of use, but we've got Jules right on the back of Gareth. We've got a wee train forming for P3 as Craig was giving Cal a challenge really early on, but Cal's decided to drop Craig in favour of Bean. As we'll jump on board, I need to stop scrolling up and down with the trigger buttons. I'll need to just start learning to do the X button and then just scrolling along. But we're going to have Cal on board. Bean is there. He's trying to break the dirty air. He's trying to break the slipstream, but Cal doesn't have any ERS to use for this lap. He is burnt the maximum you can use per lap, but he's just going to have it recharged once again. And Cal just looking so much more confident on the brakes there, as you can see the difference in braking confidence into turn 1, turn 2 again as well. Bean's been driving exceptionally well. He's been managing these race starts and just the lead of this race extremely well. Sprightly's left the session. I mean, Sprightly just really know how the weekend to write him about. It's no one that I'd be sticking on the fringe. But I can definitely, I definitely hope to see him back to form in Canada. As you see Jonesy returning the pit lane as well, and both Alphas have definitely had a race to forget, as well as the two Mercedes. The retirements are really starting to rack up now, Max, as we see Maxwell make his first move on the soft tyres as we get past Dingle Dolphin, and he's going to try and get Plum as well. But we'll just stick here on Cal Smith, who just looks, Max, his car just looks like it's basically on rails through the tight sectors, like the middle sector.
I would agree.
And then his braking is just so much more confident. Like, he's so late on the brakes, he definitely has confidence with the reference points that he's got.
Makes a bit of a mistake there, which gives Bean some breathing room. But yeah, Bean led this race, and then every single lap from here to the end of lap 19, as it will be outside of DRS now, Craig will line up a move, so this will give Bean some breathing space. As I say, Bean led every single lap so far, and he's going to lead the 19 laps as DRS is now enabled, but Craig does not need DRS as he flies around the outside and takes P2 away from Cal Smith. And kind of pulled his pants down a bit there, as Cal Smith was having a look at Bean, and now Craig is passed.
That's kind of it. Like, it's been one step forward, 2 steps back there, and it's been trying to get the position in front, and he's ended up losing to the one behind. And it might be Craig's turn. Is Craig going to try and show us what he's got to try maybe like reel Craig in, and maybe give Craig a bit of panic, try and maybe see if he can force Bean into a mistake, because we know how quick Craig can be. Like, Craig is an extremely quick driver. Like, he is always putting himself into these high situations where he is going to get a good haul of points, and he doesn't really seem to look like he's shaking Cal Smith off anytime soon, as Cal is just kind of clinging on. But I'm on board with Dodgy, who's right behind Crafty. Crafty, like, I mean, does have those penalties to worry about, but I definitely feel like he'll be marching straight to the stewards room with that. But we try and get bogged down on that. We try and just kind of ignore that, albeit the situation is like quite in our face. It's quite direct, but we'll try and deflect for that. Is there anything that you're seeing? I'm just on board with Dodgy through this quick left right and see if he's going to make a move with Crafty.
There's not
is enabled
much going on, but Maxwell is going quick plug his stone. I think he's going to be in DRS of Nitor again, but I think Dodgy's going to make a move here.
Oh, he is. As he goes running the outside, Jester's going to try and get out on the brakes, and Dodgy is just far enough ahead to make the move stick. And that's the thing as well, right? It is a bit early, so I'll not say it, but Jester and Gareth have, despite their starts, they've had really good recovery drives. Like, I mean, albeit luck has kind of played into it a wee bit with safety cars and such, but they've done a really good job just to dig that bit deeper and get themselves back to where they were effectively at the start. Because Jester's up 3 places for 8th, and Gareth's 36, and he is 6th. Like, he's not went anywhere, he's just stayed 6th the whole time. And Jules right close behind as well, so he might be under pressure in these final laps, because Jules is on a really good set of mediums. He's on 9 lap old mediums. Maxwell is going to be right behind Nedclaw though.
Don't go for a move there, please. Oh.
Don't date in the castle section. Be that a wee bit more patient. Don't date it. Kenny's too far behind and he's not got it. He's just want to make sure he's getting through there in one piece. But Nedclaw has some damage as well, so I think if he can get a good exit here, he might maybe have a run to the 14. But I definitely want to be following him on the big straight up to the line, because Nedclaw's going to have so much distance here with that damage.
Gareth.
So
Gareth's come back at Dodgy here. What's happened to Dodgy?
Oh no!
Dodgy's losing positions. Oh, Dodgy's got damage. Once again, he's picked up damage. Wow. The understeer is immense as we see Craig pitting in the fastest lap, and that's going to ring alarm bells for Bean, because that's just telling him Craig means business. Craig is ready for it. He is shaping himself up for a fight, but Maxwell is shaping up a move into turn 1. Into the inside he goes, up into 8th, and it's going to be his teammate that's just down the road. You can see him digging through turn 2. And Maxwell, Max, has really been on fire. Don't pick up damage, don't make me regret what I've just said. But Maxwell really just on a charge. I mean, it's just a shame that there isn't really much time left in this race, because we're on lap 22 or 26. And he is lapping a lot better than everybody else. He is on the fastest tyre. He's definitely just pumping these laps in. He's been cutting the deficits down. If he can take his teammate and maybe get Jules, I don't know. I think his teammate is probably the next realistic target, and I think that can be it. But from where he started 16th. So I'd say 16th to a potential 7th is a really strong result for the fans. Yeah. He did get hit, obviously, early on by Scott Laney. So he was in the wall at one point. So I think safety cars obviously helped him out. Helped him recover, and from the 16th as it was, on the safety car restart, he's got his way through the pack, whether people got damaged or not. It doesn't matter, he's made his way up. SLR Bean is still getting hunted by Craig. He did have, Bean was on for a Grand Slam, but the fast lap has been taken away from him by Craig, then by Scott Laney, who's on fresh medium, so I don't think Bean will be getting faster lap today, but he's still on for pole and the win, and led every lap, every corner of the Grand Prix so far. But Craig is not going to let this go just yet.
Definitely, I think this could be a battle that comes down to the wire, because Craig is on fresher hards as well, and they've both just dropped Cal at this point. Cal was the one that we were looking into, and we were just like, right, Cal's going to get to beat, Cal's going to try and unsettle the Red Bull at the front, and then he just got overtaken by Craig, and he's just really not been in shape. It's weird, like if you get, it does take like a wee dent to your confidence in a sense. Like if you say to yourself like I want to challenge the guy in front, and then you do, and then you just lose the place to the guy behind, then you don't really have that same momentum and confidence because you've lost the place and you're stuck behind that driver as well. And I think Cal's just certainly kind of gone backwards in a sense since the restart. He did been a really good run, but it's really just down to Craig, and Beans had a really exceptional second sector there, and even through the third he's just pulling away, and Craig crucially is outside that DRS window again, so he's really doing everything he needs to, and
doing a solid job.
And the ERS situation isn't pretty for the pair of them, as they were both running into single digits there when before.
I think it's pretty for anyone at the moment.
And so there isn't really going to be any real sense there isn't going to be really any ERS advantage, or there may be a fuel advantage. Maybe one can just go a bit more aggressive in terms of the fuel mixes, but ERS situations they're both pretty much exact, so neither of them have an upper hand. It really is just maybe down to the raw skill of Craig to try and get himself back into that 1 second window. But I think we'll just use this time, since it is a bit quiet in the race. I say quiet, there is battles for 5th place between Jules and Gareth, as we see somebody leaving the session there, I think.
Yeah, Jay Gareth.
Position changes. Oh, Jay Gareth is retired, so no too much damage there. But we would want to hear from you. Who has been your driver of the day? I am going to ask Merckx first, because I am still kind of trying to think who's stood out for me.
Yeah. I've had a quick look at the position changes, but I think at the moment there's only one winner in my eyes, and that is our number one at the moment. Pole position, led every lap, as I said, led every corner so far of the Grand Prix. If he goes on to win, fingers crossed for him. It's hard to look past Bean. He's got 2 laps to go. He's not got any DRS threat from Craig behind now. But yeah, I say Maxwell's done a good job. Ned Claw may look like he's going to pick up a point. Scott has had a bit of a topsy-turvy race, but he's been up and down. And, well, yeah, that just almost looked like Gareth was going to get sent into the wall there. Bit of late drama, but I think this is really the only battle going on at the moment, so have to keep a keen eye on this while the rest drive around. But Jules just can't seem to find a way past at all at the moment, so I'd say Bean would be my driver of the day, providing everything stays the same.
We've got SBH saying Cal Smith for his driving, however, has been kept at position and has kept Cal and Craig away. And then he says, so probably Bean. Bean looks to be his nominee. Owen Hill says Bean DOTD. Fabulous drive. I think it's been very commanding. It's not been a dominant display because he hasn't really led by like 30 seconds, but it's been very controlled, and he's definitely been, in terms of defending, he's been very tactical in how he uses his ERS and his traction off certain turns. He's definitely been a very valiant defender of his position when he's been under fire, but it's been very ice cool, so to speak. Like, he has a very controlled drive, so I would probably say that's when my vote is to Maxwell. Has had a very strong race, 16th to 8th, and the soft tyre strat at the end is definitely kind of got him into the position that he's in. He hasn't really quite got to his teammate, but 8th is still a strong result. And Scott's had a really good race as well, P12 to P7, which is he was up in second at one point, but I think 7th and 8th is a strong shout for the Ferraris. But overall, driver of the day for me is going to be Bean, as he is just building the gap. Craig, as they really go in and left, and he's looking at this stage. Bean is just building the gap again, and it's now at 2.3. So Bean really has just been just the number one driver. I mean,
Bean has
he
been.
is literally. He is. Oh, I seen what you done there. But like, it's a bit bittersweet in the sense that he is literally so close to the Grand Slam. It's literally just the fastest lap he's missing. Like, and I don't think he's ever been outside of the lead. He's always been in the lead. He's had
And a flag. Oh,
very
Plums had an
commanding
incident.
race. Oh, and that's for the final point, but we'll get to that in a minute. We're going to see Bean coming up to the pit lane, and then he's just going to weave left and right in celebration, jubilation, checkered flag waves for the Red Bull driver as he wins in Azerbaijan, and it's 2.5 seconds to gap to Craig, and Cal Smith round out the podium. Jester is going to finish 4th. Gareth is going to take that 4th off him. Jill's going to take 4th off of Gareth. Scott and Maxwell are coming line astern. You can see them there in the same shot. Scott's coming across in 7th place. Maxwell's going to take P8. So Ferrari's strong 7th and 8th. Dodgy just couldn't really keep who there was. As he crosses the line in P9. Plum is coming up with some damage, and he's going to round out the final points paying position before Scott Laney comes across the line to take P11. Ned Claw has got absolutely nothing on that front of the McLaren, absolutely nothing on the front of that McLaren. So he's got like 100% damage, but the battle
Steve-O with the Grand Slam
P13
finish. You would love to see
is
it.
really. Oh, is Steve-O going to go for it? Dingle Dolphin locks up. Steve-O, can he get on the power he can? He's in the slipstream. We're going to just sit on board as Steve-O follies Dingle Dolphin through the left. And then through the right, Steve-O's stalling over. Dingle Dolphin picks up damage, and Steve-O's going to go run the outside up to the line. Steve-O's going to take it for 13th place. This
Oh
is
no,
to avoid
Dingle
being
Dolphin's
last.
got
Dingle in the
DRS.
slipstream. Dingle Dolphin's in the slipstream. It's going to be a dead heat to the line. As Steve-O weaves to break the slipstream, and he just manages to keep the place. And Steve-O, with a bit of weaving, keeps the place. Oh, he loses it. He loses the place as the Game Geese Maxwell driver of the day. The steady 10th for Plum. Love it. Well done, Mikey. Beckers is Plum's number one fan there, and I think Plum's drove really well. I think he picked up damage early on and was kind of set on the back foot for the get-go, but to come home with a point in Baku is a really strong showing. But what a drive Beans had. Just missing the fastest lap, really. And that will probably sit in his mind, but that is going to set him up in good stead for Canada. That is a good pick-me-up. And it's a good motivator to just continue streaking and getting these results in. But at the end of the day, it is Bean that does take the win here in Azerbaijan. I don't know why I'm about to say Abu Dhabi every time, it's weird, but it's Azerbaijan as Craig ends up finishing 2nd and Cal Smith, after starting 5th, up into 2nd. Jules does take P4 on penalties. These are unofficial results though, as we see Jules taking 4th. Gareth in P5. Jester Gareth and Jester have had hectic races and they end up finishing 5th and 6th, so that's a very special feat for the pair of them. And then it's a Scottish 7th and 8th, as we see Scott and Maxwell, the two Ferraris, 12th and 16th finish 7th and 8th. SLR Dodgy couldn't really keep out the wars, as he does pick up some damage every once in a few laps, as he ends up finishing 9th, and Plum rounds at the points. Scott Laney, Ned Claw, and then the duel between Dingle Dolphin and Steve-O round out the remaining drivers to finish the race and see the checkered flag. So that was S-tier entertainment in there, from the back of the field, as both of them tried taking the last place on the last place in the standings for the race. Don't know why that was very hard to say, but but we move. But it's been really, I really enjoyed watching that.
I did, yeah. You could Beans Day. If you want a catchy headline for SLR. um, I'll try and stop doing the puns now.
Don't quit your day job.
We do have our 3 podium sitters in the party, so make sure you do tick your box so that the viewers can hear your voice. So we'll start off with our third place driver, Cal Smith. Welcome. After a disappointing Monaco, I'd like to say that you're pretty happy with that performance today.
Yeah, definitely. A lot better than Monaco.
You could talk us through your race. You had a couple of chances at being in that race, especially after safety car.
I just couldn't keep up with him, and then Craig got me, and then there was no chance. And then I got a penalty for braking into turn 1, and I was off the track. And my Jeff doesn't work, so I couldn't tell if the guy behind me had penalties, so I was a bit scared for the last couple of laps.
Yeah, I think you were fine in the end. Gareth and Crafty had penalties, so that was all fine in the end. So you managed to keep P3 at 15 points on the board. Can't complain too much around a track like this.
Nah, it's alright.
So well done on the podium finish.
Thank you.
On to our second place man, Craig, back on to the rostrum once again for Alpha Tauri. You yourself had a couple of chances to get Bean late on in that race, but
I think he was fair play with him today. He was the faster man today. He was.
Talk us through those early stages in that race. It was
I took
close.
I took damage on lap 4, so I went straight onto the mediums, hoping I could get the best out of them. I think then the safety car came out for the second time, so I just put the hards on and just went to the end with them. But at the end, I just couldn't catch Bean. He was in the league was on today, so well done to him.
Yeah, there wasn't too much. You were in DRS, but never. In the end, had a couple of half chances, but never in the end didn't materialise for a proper duel. But well done on the second place.
Thank you.
So where do I start? Pole, led every lap, won the race. Driver of the day from the viewers. The only thing missing was fastest lap. Yeah, the only thing missing was the fastest lap, but Dodgy got that on fresh medium tyres, so I don't think you were going to ever get that. But, I mean, yeah, talk us through that one.
Well, the pole, quali, I think on the last attempt I got a couple of good toes, or enough of a toe to give me the pole, but as big a margin, well, I say it wasn't a massive margin, but 2 cents I think it was it? So I think that was why that gap was there. So yeah, I can't say it was all me. I think it was the toe as well. And in the race, yeah, I think the first couple of laps were really close, and I think Cal and the other Force Racing Point, I think they had a bit of a tangle in the castle section. They just seemed to gain about 2 seconds, and and then I looked back on the mini map and saw they were stuck a little bit in the air. So that gave me a bit of breathing space, and then I just tried to control it from there, sort of thing. And then the safety cars changed everything. So I honestly thought Cal was going to get me on the safety car restart, and then obviously when Craig overtook him, he was so close as well. I just thought I'll just plant it in the middle of the track and let them make the move. But fortunately, I managed to stay out in front. So, but yeah, great racing last 10 laps or so. I think it was brilliant. Well done to obviously Craig and Cal on their positions as well.
Yeah, thoroughly deserved win. Just looked comfortable. Was under threat quite a lot, like you say, especially when the safety car restarts. Could always get a bit interesting there, but managed to keep it clean. Second restart was the one that did it for you, I believe.
Yeah, I think the first one I didn't do too great on. I think I gave everybody behind. I think they knew I was going to go, and then the second one I just left it a little bit later. And I saw Cal behind just weave, and I thought, right, I've got to go, and that's when I went. So, yeah, there you go. It's in my favour today. So,
Yeah, never looked back. Well done on the win tonight.
thank you.
Oh, well, no, that's I was just going to pretty much say I just want to extend my congratulations to the podium setters. Being on a very commanding drive for the front, not even a late charge for Craig was enough to put you off. Very cool under the pressure, even with the safety car restarts as well as you were just discussing there with us. So just a well done to yourself and to everybody here on the podium. Very, very thoroughly enjoying race. I've pretty much enjoyed watching that for the commentary booth. Myself and Merckx very much enjoyed that. Very chaotic up and down the field, plenty of wheel-to-wheel action, plenty of battles, and some good results in between. We've got a quick wee message in the chat for Kiwi Razbaz is saying well done boys, and a massive well done to DNF Plum. For not DNFing, does they really live up to his name this time around, as he has just managed to get the point. So we'll give him a special mention there, as that was a very late message in on the chat. But just going to round it off there with congratulations to the three troops here in the podium chat with us, and we very much look forward to having you in Canada in a week's time, 9 PM British Standard Time on a Saturday, and join our commentary team for tomorrow's race, which is the final race run, the Baku Street Circuit, in the Elite Division, with your commentators for that race at 7 o'clock. So we enjoy having you with us for what should be another entertaining race before we move to Canada. So I'm just going to round off with that, and we'll catch you in the next stream.